So, I once had a voice actor leave my project, block me on every platform known to mankind, and then when I tracked him down to ask why, he tells me to, and I quote, fuck off, retard. And somehow, that wasn't even the worst part about production. Welcome back to Hayden's Chat Corner, where I talk about life, storytelling, and the slow public humiliation of watching myself get eliminated by people who are clearly having a grand old time using a blunderbuss against someone who's not even level 1 in The Last of Us factions. I'm serious. I suck at shooters. That is not a joke. Okay, so the story starts with my first proper audio drama, Diego's West. It was a romanticized western. Big cast, big ambitions, genuinely zero idea what I was doing. And look, I can write, I could edit, I can mix audio until it sounds like something a human being would voluntarily listen to. But directing? Directing was a completely different skill. And the core of directing. The one thing you absolutely cannot fake is knowing how to explain what you want to another person. Which I could not do at all. I was basically handing people vibes and hoping they'd turn them into performances. Which, to be fair, sometimes worked. But mostly it didn't. So, first proper production, brand new skill set I hadn't developed yet. What could go wrong? Everything. By the time I had finished writing episode 2, which genuinely people liked more than episode 1, so at least the writing was improving while everything else was actively collapsing, half the cast was already gone. One by one, people stopped responding, left the server, and evaporated into the internet like they were never there. Which is a very specific kind of awful, by the way. At least a blow-up gives you something to work with. Silence just leaves you sitting there, refreshing Discord, like, did I do something? Did everyone die? Is this just my life now? And one of those disappearing acts belonged to a guy I'll call Landor. Now here's the thing that makes this genuinely annoying. Landor was good. Like, actually, legitimately talented. Great delivery, great timing. The kind of voice actor that makes you think, okay, this project actually may work. Which is why what happened next was so spectacularly frustrating. So, a week goes by. I notice he's gone. Left the server, no message, nothing. Just a Landor-shaped hole where a cast member used to be. So I try reaching out. Blocked. Now, a reasonable person at this point would probably take the hint. Log off, touch some grass, and accept some things aren't meant to be understood. I'm not always a reasonable person. Hey, I noticed you left the project. Do you mind if I ask why? That's it. That's the whole message. Perfectly reasonable. 2 minutes later, I got a response. And that response was, fuck off, retard. So, that was the feedback. Not, I had scheduling issues. Not, I didn't vibe with the direction. Not even just, leave me alone. Just straight to the point. Full send, no hesitation, no punctuation, which somehow makes it funnier to me. I really want you to appreciate the ratio here. I sent 9 words. He sent 3. And somehow, those 3 words contained so much information about why the project was struggling, I almost wanted to thank him for clarity. Almost. Now, the mature adult response here would have been to close the laptop and go outside and let it go. I was 18. So, instead, I went to every single voice acting Discord server he was in, posted the screenshot, and said, don't work with this guy. The feedback I received was, mixed, to say the least. Specifically, several people point out that I, a full-grown adult of 18 years, had just effectively given a public wedgie to a 15-year-old. Which, fair. But also, he called an autistic person a retard. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say he had the trajectory mapped out for him pretty clearly, and followed it faithfully. Last I checked, I never saw him in another project. Not even the ones that were actively looking for jerk-offs. Which, and I say this with complete sincerity, which is a very specific kind of karma. And look, I'm not gonna pretend I was a perfect director who did nothing wrong, because I wasn't. I was frustrated. I was confused. I was probably communicating like someone who learned what communication was from a YouTube tutorial and hadn't practiced it yet. And when you're running your first big project and half your cast ghosts you, you don't exactly become calmer and more reasonable about it. So I'm not putting all of this on Landor. But also, fuck off, retard, is not peer feedback. Moving on. Around that same time, I got hired to work on anti-bullying PSA for a school. 18 plus casting, adults only, simple project. Clean and straightforward. Or at least, it should have been. I cast everyone. Good group, decent turnout. And then, just before we got started, I decided to do a quick profile check. Just routine, just due diligence. Half the cast were 13. Not like borderline, not like 17 and a half rounding up. 13. Children. Literal children. Who'd looked at an 18 plus casting call for an anti-bullying PSA and gone, yeah, that's me. And the part that really gets me, some of them were good. Like, genuinely, annoyingly talented. Better than some of the other adults I had casted. Which means I'd sit there and go, wow, you're really impressive. And I absolutely cannot use you in this, goodbye, go do your homework. The whole cast, gone. Recasting from scratch. For an anti-bullying PSA. Which, if you think about it, is kind of poetic. The most chaotic possible outcome for the most wholesome possible project. I'd like to think somewhere out there, a 13-year-old with a great voice is reflecting on their choices. I genuinely doubt it. So, yeah. That's where I landed after Diego's West. I don't work the same way anymore. Better vetting, better communication, slightly less blind optimism. Not because people are bad, just because I actually like finishing things. Next time, I will talk about someone that is very deeply emotionally connected to the cockles of my heart. Don't ask what that means.